The High Sheriff is the Queen's representative for law and order in the county of Somerset. Well, the roles vary tremendously, but it's both to represent Her Majesty in the county of Somerset. When she comes to Somerset with the Lord Lieutenant, you get to be introduced to members of the royal family who are visiting the county. You support the judges and many of the emergency services, including particularly the police, as well as meeting many volunteers and saying thank you to what they do across the county. In the old days of over 1,000 years ago, you could raise a hue and cry, you were in charge of the judges, you could send people to prison, you had tax raising powers and everything else, as you remember the Sheriff of Nottingham. They gave us such a bad name that today a High Sheriff is much more ceremonial. It's not a role that I aspire to, because you have no idea that you are going to be asked to be High Sheriff, which started with me over 5 years ago when someone asked me if I would consider the role.
Hello, I'm Caroline. I'm from Bradford-on-Avon.
So obviously there are restricted public access to certain parts of Wales.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
No, I've come here for a day out today with my husband, and all the roads are blocked and there's police everywhere and there's people on horses and everybody's dressed to high nines. So unless the Queen's coming, I'm not sure quite what's going on.
Do you know what a High Sheriff is?
No, something to do with Sheriff of Nottingham and Robin Hood maybe?
Why do you think they chose Wells Cathedral for the ceremony?
I mean, the only thing I can think about is because Wells Cathedral is such a beautiful place and it's got quite a lot of history here, so I'd imagine they want to have it somewhere that's quite a big event. So Wells Cathedral is quite sort of large and amazing place to have it. So I expect that's why they have it here.
Would you want to become High Sheriff?
Possibly. I do like the thought of helping people and it being charity based. I don't know if I would have time to do it at the moment because I work full time, but I think it does seem really interesting.
The day of the ceremony begins with a gathering of city mayors, previous High Sheriffs and family and friends in the Wells Town Hall. Here they reconnect after not meeting up for a long time. It's a great opportunity to discuss the day and to meet the new and current High Sheriff. The individuals then line up in a procession order before they parade to the cathedral for the ceremony. As the role is so important, the parade is done to create a traditional and formal way of transferring the people. This is very interesting to the public eye as it represents the High Sheriff in a suitable way. The parade then enters the cathedral and sits towards the front whilst the guests are placed to the sides and the back. Unfortunately, we were not allowed to film inside the cathedral for respectful reasons. The ceremony is where the role of the High Sheriff that was previously given to Johnnie Halliday is given to the new High Sheriff, Mary Claire Rodwell. Once the ceremony has taken place, the guests and High Sheriff return back to Town Hall to celebrate and announce Mary Claire Rodwell as the new High Sheriff.
I've really enjoyed the time as High Sheriff. I've spent 11 months now. I know a lot more about it than I used to. It's been a fascinating year of meeting very many people from the diversity across our beautiful county of Somerset, and I've really enjoyed it. Well, I hope she continues representing Somerset in the same way. Every High Sheriff has a slightly different take on what they do, and it is up to them how they see their role and perform it. But I wish her every success with her year as High Sheriff.